Beautiful blessings, love and light to all. Early in the week, I was playing through some of the songs I wrote, and this one resonated with me because I wanted to dedicate it to Reverend Aileen. And it just happens this is her last day before her journey on her vacation. So, yeah, this goes out to you for all you do. Feel free to sing along if you want. It repeats, the mantra is, my love is a reflection of my life. Let me get some sound. Is it coming through? My love is a reflection of my life. My love is a reflection of my life. Aligned with all my struggles and my strife. My love is a reflection of my life, my Now I give with an open heart, giving love when the world is dark, consciousness resonating truth. We are light, universal youth. Now I live with an open heart, giving love when the world is dark, consciousness resonating truth. We are light, universal youth. Is a reflection of my life. My love is a reflection of my life. Aligned with all my struggles and my strife. My love is a reflection of my life. Suffering is the fuel for growth. Let it go and you'll flow the most. I have sat with the deepest pain. Now I welcome the pouring rain. Suffering is the fuel for growth. Let it go and you'll flow the most. I have sat with the deepest pain. Now I welcome the pouring rain. Let it rain. My love is a reflection of my life. My love is a reflection of my life. Aligned with all my struggles and my strife. My love is a reflection of my life, my life. Love is strength. Be the light. Go towards kindness. Love feels right. Love feels right. My love is a reflection of my life. My love is a reflection of my life. Aligned with all my struggles and my strife. My love is a reflection of my life, my life. Thank you. And she represents that. She reflects so much love, right?
Oh, that makes me want to dance. You know, I've been suffering for a few months. I was wearing that big heavy boot, and I'm finally back in shoes, and then I can run away for a couple of months. Welcome to First Unity Spiritual Campus. Thank you, Reverend Emmanuel Yerna, for that beautiful original composition. Didn't that want to make you want to get up? But this is the devotional service, so we don't do that too much. We stay nice and serene. We stay nice and calm, right? This is why. So I don't want to disturb you too much. Welcome to all of you online. Welcome to you here. It is an honor to be here today. I am Reverend Aileen, and I'm very honored to work with Reverend John Scott, who is our senior pastor, leader. Very much thanks to Brandon in the AV booth, and thanks to Gavin and to all who make the sound and create all of this. So I'm here to welcome you, to remind you to silence your cell phone. And to those of you online, just thank you for being with us. And let's just take a moment to just ground and resettle in. You really riled us up, Emmanuel, but that was beautiful. Okay. So I'm honored to be joined by prayer chaplain Barb Berger, but you might become a reverend sometime in the future, something to think about. So she's with us here on the spiritual support team, and I just want to take a moment to talk about our spiritual support team. We usually wear the pink stoles. We're available for prayer. There's a prayer box outside to the left. And this morning, I'm very honored that Barb is going to share. She's going to a reading. She's going to open our sacred centering, and then I'm going to follow with a meditation. So.
Thank you. I'm reading from one of my favorite books, The Artist's Way. It's a very famous book. It's been out for about 25 plus years. And it's not only for artists that paint and sculpt and all that. We are all artists. And on that note, I'm going to read what creativity is. Creativity is the ability to form valuable ideas or works using one's own imagination. Products of creativity may be intangible or physical. Creativity may also describe the ability to find new solutions to problems or new methods to accomplish a goal. Kind of an interesting way to think of creativity. Because I think a lot of people shut down when you say the word creative or creativity. It's really taking us from what was and who we were into a new. Thus, the name creator, creativity, creation. And here's the reading. It's called Recovering a Sense of Faith. Trusting. This is a quote from Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead. He was the drummer. Adventures don't begin until you get into the forest. That first step is the act of faith. Creativity requires faith. Faith requires that we relinquish all control. This is frightening, and we resist it. Our resistance to our own creativity is a form of self-destruction. We throw up roadblocks on our own path. Why do we do this? In order to maintain an illusion of control. Depression, like anger and anxiety, is resistance, and it creates dis-ease. this manifests itself into sluggishness, confusion. I don't know. The truth is, we do know, and we know that we know. Each of us has an inner dream that we can unfold if we will just have the courage to admit what it is, and the faith to trust our own admission. The admitting is often very difficult. A clearing affirmation can often open this channel. One excellent one is, quote, "I know the things that I know," unquote. Another affirmation is, quote, "I trust my own inner guide," unquote. Either of these will eventually yield us a sense of our own direction, which will often then promptly we will resist. The resistance is really very understandable. We are not accustomed to thinking, this is the key, that God's will for us and our own inner dreams can coincide together. Let me read that again. We are not accustomed to thinking that God's will for us and our own inner dreams will coincide. Instead, we have bought the message of our culture. This world is a vale of tears, and we are meant to be dutiful and then die. The truth is that we are meant to be bountiful and live. The universe will always support affirmative action. Our truest dream for ourselves is always God's will for us. The Artist's Way. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb, for that reminder that the essence of who we are is, in fact, God, whatever we label this. We are co-creators with the God of our understanding. And so I'm going to guide you into some meditation, prayer time today. So as always, I will invite the bell, which is the invitation to your mind, to your body, and to your spirit, coming into this present moment. So those of you at home online, if you're in a comfortable place, and to those of you with me in the sanctuary, just making your physical body as comfortable as you can. This is always the preparation, the way in. If you feel safe to do so, maybe closing your outer eyes or finding something to focus on. And maybe noticing in this moment what tension or tightness or any blocks in your body temple. Moving out of tension as you, with your breath, find those spaces where you can allow ease. Your breath to go to those areas of your body. Breathing in your own way. As you fill up, expand the abdomen, the rib cage. And then as you exhale, maybe noticing how you can make the exhale breath, the return breath, the giving back breath, longer, more easy. And just scanning your own body here for a few more cycles of breath. Adjusting your body where you need to. And just expressing thanks and gratitude for your body, this vehicle that allows your essence of who you really are to express here on this earth. Notice if your fingers are relaxed, and allow your belly to be soft here. So the wisdom we're seeking is always within us. So as you continue to go deep within yourself, for some of you, maybe that's resting in the spiritual eye, the third eye between your eyebrows. Just taking a moment to notice if you're in a place of no thought. But if there are any thoughts, allow them to come and go, knowing that's what the mind, the brain needs to do. But who you are not these thoughts. You're simply the witness, the awareness. Maybe now you're beginning to feel who you are beyond this body, beyond these thoughts. Some of you might label this God, Goddess, Spirit, Prana, Chi. So connect now in your way, as I'm simply your guide who has brought you here. So staying here now as you connect in your own way, in stillness, without my words. As you now find the answers you seek. From this place now, quietly affirming to yourself, I am the essence of that which exists beyond the universe of time, space, and change. I know that now I am connecting to that deep I am, unchanging part of who I am. I am eternal life. So notice this feeling now in this space, this place. Notice how this is always here within you, never in the outside world, but always here in this present moment. So slowly now, as you begin to bring your awareness back to this place, this space, beginning to lengthen your inhale, your exhale breath. Maybe slowly just bringing movement into your body. Maybe bringing your hands together in prayer position or wherever is comfortable as you slowly begin to open up your eyes. Just noticing the light, the energy of those all around you. And just taking a moment maybe to capture somebody's eyes or just look around you as we acknowledge the divine light within me. Truly honor, sees the divine light within each and every one of you. And we honor one another when we say that always in one word, Namaste.
Namaste. Om Shanti. Hi. Great morning to you. Reverend Aileen, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. The last few weeks have been pretty intense. We were in a two-part series on the radical power of oneness. And hopefully you've had a chance to sit with some of those thoughts and be with how you're shaping your world with some of that information and hopefully some of it inspiration. Today I would like to, as we bring the month of February to conclusion, I would like to bring things in a little more calm way, I think, today. I felt pretty fiery the last few weeks, and there's a place for that. And we're still needing to be aware, and actually that's a part of my sharing with you today. I'm revisiting the thoughts of awake, aware, alert, but not alarmed. So with everything that's going on, what we're seeing in the world outside of us, what we're experiencing within us, it's important for us to remain awake and for us to live in a constant state of awareness and alertness. Don't ignore what you're seeing, but be careful that you don't become alarmed. And here's one of the reasons for it. Because your mind does something every single day that shapes your entire life, and it's called confirmation bias. Nothing that we're doing, seeing, hearing is done out of purity while we're still waking up, because the mind needs to be in charge. It needs to be in charge so that it can make you feel safe. And what it does is it tricks you, but it's tricking you by design to make you feel safe, to make you feel a sense. Otherwise, you'd go crazy, as they say. You would lose your mind. But I want to encourage us to not be afraid of losing our mind. Stay with me. To the degree that our minds have been conditioned to literally live from a place of judgment, bias, and limitation. And religion and our governmental structure has helped to feed that because it's best for the systems as they are. And this is what I mean by becoming awake. Letting go of the mind is about getting into the quiet, getting into the silence, getting into the calm. And the reason your mind fights that much is because when you're being in the quiet and you're in the stillness, the mind is not in control. And the mind starts to lose its mind. And it loses its hold. And as it's losing its hold, the ego begins to lose its hold as well, because they work together in concert to control the way you see information, the way you hear information, and how you act, how you behave in this life. Your mind wants to confirm what it already has decided to believe. And this is why beliefs, more than anything else, stand in the way of truth. And this is why every great sage and teacher throughout time, every light shower and way shower has told us to relieve ourselves from the prison of the mind. The next wave of evolution for humanity is to transcend the mind so that we can transform our human experience. We are in the process of transcending. This is why we're seeing the splits and the divisions, and we're seeing more clearly some of the craziness of the world. Sometimes we start to feel like we're in the twilight zone. You know how you can talk to someone and are you getting any of this happening to you? You can speak to someone about a subject, share with them what you have found to be fact, and it doesn't matter how many facts you share. It still holds true to a particular belief, still holding on to a belief. Their mind needs them to. Stop trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm going to say that one more time because we probably need to rest in that. Stop trying to convince anyone of anything. We're not called here to convince other people or to convict other people or to condemn other people. This is our own personal journey to free ourselves from the prison of our mind. If you believe in your mind that people can't be trusted, your mind is going to constantly notice situations to prove that that's true. It will continue to reinforce that belief, because that's what confirmation bias is. The mind seeks out memes, quotes, and individuals that will prove that what you believe is actually true when it's not. If you believe that you're unlucky, then your brain is going to highlight bad things that happen in your life, and it's going to frustrate you. How many of you have ever had one of those days? I've heard people say, I'm having one of those days. What do you mean? Compounded activities that are confirming what I believe. The only way to shake us out of what we believe is to start questioning what we believe. And I'm talking about questioning it at all. I started questioning myself just recently what I believe about America. What do I really believe about politics? What do I really believe about our governmental structures? What do I really believe about religion? I told you all at the end of last year, I said, I'm not going to share with you the other thing that I wrote down at Burning Bowl, but I'm going to share with you the main thing I wrote down, and that was what? I'm giving up my spiritual self. And you could have heard a pin drop in the room. What does that mean, you're giving up your spiritual self? Well, the spiritual self had also become another concept. I want to constantly be challenging what it is that I think I believe, so that I'm constantly asking my mind to be elastic and continue to be my servant, not my master. Because the mind is a wonderful servant, but it is a horrible master. because it operates in the past. It's operating off of experiences that have already occurred. It's not operating off of creativity. I love how you brought that up, Barb, when you were reading some of us are afraid of creativity because I think the mind is afraid that you'll become creative, because when you become creative, you start doing things that doesn't need the mind's instructions. And the mind is grasping for keeping charge of this personality and this persona, these things that we've built. If you believe that you're not good enough, your mind is going to selectively remember every single failure and on purpose overlook successes. This is one of the reasons that some people, you can pay them a compliment and they'll talk you out of it. You ever notice that? Have you ever been in love with somebody that you complimented them, and every time you complimented them, they had 14 things that would tell you a different story than just the simple compliment you gave to them? That's the mind. Be aware of it. Don't be afraid of it. But be awake to that as a reality and work to renew the mind. In other words, start instructing the mind instead of being instructed by it. Your emotions are not your instructions. They're signals only. The feelings are signs. They're not the destination. They're not in charge. Reminding yourself constantly. And I know some of us are saying, yeah, but we say this all the time. I know that's what I mean. Let's continue to come back to this and question, what is it that I actually believe? Even about my own spiritual life. Why is it that I am so afraid of what's being put out in the media right now? Why am I living in fear? See, we've all been drugged as a society to live on media and now social media, and to actually believe that that medium is true, when it all has a spin. Even the news you like has a spin. Because it's all coming through someone else's mind, someone else's interpretation, someone else's perception. How do I know what's true? This is what starts to happen. We get frustrated. I had 5 people tell me this week. Well, then how do I know what's true? Because some conversations have come out of this radical power of oneness. And it's been, okay, well, if what you're saying then is true, how do I know what is true? Because you're saying I can't believe any of it, that it's all just one big facade, that we're in a simulation of sorts, and this is just a game. How do I know what's true? Your North Star is love. Your North Star is compassion. Your North Stars are peace, love, and compassion. If you can't believe anything else, you can believe those things. This is why people will say, well, then how should I vote then? Based on what you said, I said, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but as you go to the booth, ask yourself, the platform that you're casting your vote energy toward, does it represent love and compassion and peace? If it does not represent those things, you might ask yourself, am I really voting what I really want to see occur in my world? Yes, but what if that candidate's lying? What do you mean, what if? That's like the number one thing on the top 5 things they're supposed to do. What if I believe it's not true? Then put your vote, put your energy into what you want to see happen. Do you want to see compassionate leadership? Do you want to see loving leadership? Do you want to see inclusion? Do you want to see equality and equity and harmony and peace and joy? Is that what you want to see? Then put your activity into those things, because I do believe that if you can't find any other truth, love is the truth. One of the things I thought about this week as I was thinking about awake, aware, alert, but not alarmed, is I was raised in an environment where we were commanded to save souls. And in New Thought, we're doing the same thing. We just call it something different. Folks don't normally come down to the altar, although you wouldn't believe that if you looked at our service 3 weeks ago when we did. Folks don't normally come down to the altar at the end to, in a New Thought church to give up their sins, ask Jesus to come in their heart so they don't have to burn in the customized torture chamber for eternity. That's not typically what happens in a New Thought church. But there's still sort of this idea that we're out here just to save souls. And so I asked myself this week, is First Unity, are we here to save souls, or are we here to revolutionize systems? Because we've been taught for years that's what we're supposed to do, is to save souls and withdraw from the systems. Separation of church and state. You've heard those statements. Well, I don't believe that a church or any religious community should utilize the government and weaponize the government to make other people do what they think should be done. But if the churches and spiritual communities were focusing on love and compassion and equality and inclusion, which is exactly what Jesus taught, which is exactly what Siddhartha taught, and it's really in fact what Muhammad taught, if those were the things we were focusing on and we were calling for that kind of legislation, then I believe that our world would be different. But the church has just been trying to concentrate, really, let me say this. Here's what I think has happened to the church. We have McDonaldized it. And then people become monetized, not ministered to. We've created systems that quantify and try to measure people's spiritual growth. Good luck. There's no quantifying that. We want to make sure we have good customer service, but we're not interested in transformation. We want to make sure we look good to the world, make sure that we're putting, this is why we do church growth campaigns, so that we can write down where are we at so far? How many people showed up this last week? Is that showing the health of our community? I don't think so. I think what is showing the health of our community is not the measurables, the scalables. It is, how is your world around you in Tampa Bay and St. Pete being affected by the people who are coming together in community? How's the energy shaping change in your world? There's a reason that the voice of God comes through the prophet during David's kingship in Israel and says, stop counting the people. Because it was how the king was measuring the success of the kingdom, by how many people were within its walls. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not interested in being a brand manager. I want to be conduit. And I want to be conduit that is not even leading overtly. In fact, here's the level of leadership I'd love to have. When I leave this world, and anything that I have done in this world, or anything that we do successfully as a community here, when the work is done, the people will say, look what we did, not look what he did. Because this is not about me. It's about being awake, aware, and alert to your own divine nature. But the systems of our world don't want you to be awake and aware and alert to who you really are. This is why everything from the water system to the food to what we see on TV and what we hear on radio is built around keeping you sleepy, sick, scared, and separate, broke, busted, and disgusted. Fight, flight, freeze. Go as far back as you want to and look at the history books and look at how over this last at least 50 or 60 years, this has been a methodical, systematic imprisonment and enslavement of human beings. Because if I can't put you in chains of steel, I'll put your mind in the chains of fear. Everything from our propaganda about the other countries in the world to our propaganda about each other on different sides of the aisle has been about keeping us separate and keeping us sick. That's why we don't have a health care system. We have a sick care system. That's why we treat symptoms. We don't cure ailments. Come on, I'm preaching to somebody up in here. It's time for us to really become actually awake. And even the word woke has been weaponized and used by one particular group. And then we look at it and we go, I'm woke. Sounds cool, right? I'm woke. And then we look at some of the elements and you go, well, I don't know if I'm that woke. I mean, that looks a little angry. kind of hateful. I don't know if I'm that woke. But I want to be awake. And a part of it I can get with, and a part of it I can't. See, the part that you can't get with, you know why that is? But most of the time, it's because love in you says, hey, wait a minute. No, that's over a line. And now that's back to sleep. Staying awake, you'll be able to sense it from the knowing that's within you, whether it's awakeness that you're seeing and hearing, or it's just another way to lull you to sleep. We are in the process of a monumental shift of humanity. That's why we are being sifted and shifted, and some of us feel shifted on in a constant frenzy. I'm seeing this all the time. I mean, you know how much stress, how many more drugs-related anxiety have been prescribed just since November? And my God, since January the 20th. Can I point something out? What is happening right now is mind control. This is why every day it's pa 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 pa. Does that remind you of how torture goes on? How they reshape the minds of Marines to become special ops? They put them in a room that's dark, and then all of a sudden it's light, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. They use light and loud music, noise, chaos. Why? Because that's the easiest way to break a mind down and turn them into the machine you want them to be. Turn it off. Turn it off because it's hypnosis. And some folks will say that sounds crazy. Let me tell you something. I've been called crazy, socialist, communist, and pro-devil in the last 2 weeks. Somebody shared a video clip, which was really cool. They shared the video clip, so I found that interesting. And their caption was pro-Satan. I used to get emotionally charged by it, but I consider the source. I understand it. See, because to them, it is pro-Satan because it's adverse to what they think things, the way they think things should be. So I don't get angry about that stuff anymore. I got happy that they shared the video. I thought, well, that's interesting. You could have just done a static picture and said pro-Satan, but you shared the video. Somebody's going to watch it. But what's happening right now is this blitz of information. You know, I've mentioned to you before, too much information without enough inspiration will lead to the inflammation of your self and soul. And most disease can be traced right back to the inflammation. We got to turn it off. You say, I don't want to be uninformed. Folks, you're being misinformed. So which one would you like, the inflammation of misinformation, or would you like to really get into the truth of who you are? We are right now entering to a stage of time in history where the dank darkness is not going to go away by light bulbs being screwed in. It's going to go away for you by you allowing the lamp unto your feet and the light unto your path to direct you. This is a time to go within so that we don't go without. This is a time to recognize our profound sense of interconnectedness and to withdraw from the systems that are lulling us to sleep. Awareness. Become aware that you cannot see the self with the mind. You are seeing the mind from the self. Can I say that again? Become aware. This is what I mean by awareness. Shut off the other things that are putting you to sleep. And remember that you can become aware. You become aware that you cannot see the self through this mind. This is why we need to withdraw from the mind, be in the quiet, be in the stillness. Become aware that you cannot see the self through the mind. You are seeing the mind from the self. It's the same thing that I think it was Muji that said, and I quoted this not too long ago, where he said, everything you want, how did he say that? Everything you want is found in the place from which you're wanting from, or it's in that deep place. Everything that you need is found in that place from which you are seeing the need. It is in the deep of you, the deep part of you. Become aware. Start to live in awareness. Start to become more conscious than ever before. Cultivate awareness in this world. Cultivate that invisible and indivisible part of you. That's what it means to be aware. To be aware is to be awake, to be conscious. The word consciousness is from the word, it's the Spanish word conciencia. It means to do with knowledge or with knowing. instead of belief, from the knowing. So become aware of that space. You think you're seeing the world clearly, but your mind is filtering out everything that doesn't align with what you already believe. That's what it means to be in awareness. I'm aware of it. The next time you find yourself acting in a certain way, give you for instance, you get up, car doesn't start. You got somewhere you have to be. Car's not starting. You start to feel it. You can feel it coming up from your feet. You're getting stressed out because I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there. I just got to be there. I don't want to be late. Some folks are those kind of people who are on time to everything. I'm one of those people. I used to get messed with in my 20s about not being on time. I felt so embarrassed about it that I trained myself to be on time. I am a punctual person. And I'm one of these kind of people, if things are not going the way they need to go, that I can start to feel it in my body. Notice it, and then ask yourself, what's going to happen if I don't show up on time? What's the worst case scenario? So-and-so's going to be mad at me. I'll have to reschedule. What's the worst case? Stop yourself in the midst of that, because you're taking years off of your life as your mind begins to tell you something is terribly wrong when it's really not. Be careful, because your mind is aligning with what it already believes. And tell your mind to calm. Calm. Be at peace. As you do that, you're going to start to train the invisible and indivisible part of you. And you will start to instruct your life instead of being instructed by it. And then there's being alert. It's a state of being watchful. And let me tell you something. The mind is not watchful. The mind is memoryful. See, alert means to be watchful or vigilant, but the mind is not watchful. The mind is memoryful. In other words, you as the consciousness, you can be watching. You are the observer. Don't let the mind be the observer, because the mind has multiple lenses that it's filtering what it sees through. You need to, the place you're looking for is found in the place from where you're looking. But the clarity comes from the inside. It comes from the truth of who you are. It comes from the true self, not the facsimile, not the person that was built through the mind. The mind is not watchful. It is memoryful. It is full of filters and layers. Become alert. Become aware of that. Become vigilant in this work. Because as you do, you begin to build the new world. Now, lastly, so that I can get out of here actually on time today. Awake, aware, alert, but not alarmed. I looked up the word alarmed because I thought, is this really going to work? And it does, because the word alarmed means frightened, worried to stress, disturbed and fearful. And another caveat definition is called to arms. In other words, when you're alarmed, you go into fight mode or flight mode, which means, guess where you're not? You're not here. You're not in the imagination. You're not in the third eye. Now you're in reptilian brain. You're in survival mode. You're in preservation mode. And when you go there, there's things people can do in that mode that you would have never thought they were capable of. For instance, you've all heard this. Car or something heavy falls on a woman's child, and she goes beyond physical strength, lifts something that's 10 times her own body weight off of that child, and you wouldn't think that was possible. Well, in that mode, there's another level of strength. It's called adrenaline that comes into play there. If you stay in a fight, flight, or frozen mode, you're going to be frightened, worried, stressed, disturbed all of the time. And there's two reasons that I believe we should not be alarmed during this season. One of those is that we are in direct contact with our divine nature, and we realize our direct descendancy is God. I am a child of God. This is why I refuse to be alarmed. Yes, but there's the mind. I would say get your butt out of the way, but that might be considered brood. Yes, but. No, there's the mind again, telling you that that's, yes, but what if this happens? Don't live in the what ifs. Live in the what is. I can't do that with the mind. How do I do that? With the spirit, with the conscious self, with the true self, with the one who is aware. See, when I'm in that fear mode, I'm turning off the creativity. I'm unable to create solutions because I'm living in the problem. Transcend and transform. Come out of the disturbance and set the course for the solution. There's two reasons. One, I know I'm a child of God. How many of you actually know that? Now, this is rhetorical because I want you to ask within yourself, not the mind, but your soul self, do I really believe that I am covered by the divinity? Do I really believe I'm a direct descendant of the God of all creation? Do I believe that the source is my parent and that source presence is within me? Do I really believe it? Really ask of yourself over this next week, do I really believe that? And number two, here's another reason to not be alarmed. Because we know that fear weakens us and diseases us, and I refuse to be unwell. Repeat that after me. I refuse to be unwell. Now, can you say it with some gusto? I refuse to be unwell. See, dis-ease is just disconnection from your ease. So when you're feeling uneasy, there is a disease that is trying its best to muster up within your system. Reconnect with your ease. Reconnect with the peace that passes all understanding. In other words, peace that passes all understanding means peace that doesn't make sense. Peace that doesn't make sense, it means it's a peace that is beyond the sensations because it's beyond the mind, and the mind operates in the sensations. Go into your spiritual beingness, revitalize that place, cultivate that place, and start to command your senses instead of being commanded by them. Here's what's cool. When you live in that love, you start to transform the venom of fear into the antidote that makes you immune to fear. The same venom from a snake's bite is what's used to create the antidote. The same venom. So the fear that you've been experiencing in your life, go into the laboratory of your soul and create a vaccine. Become impervious and immune to fear. This is why the scripture says, love perfected. It's a poor translation, says perfect love. Makes you think there's an imperfect love. So it's a poor translation. Because in the Greek there, it can be perfect love. But it also has another meaning, love perfected, which means I have cultivated it. Love perfected casts out fear. I like to say it this way, because fear doesn't need to be cast out either. That's bad use of your energy. Love perfected transmutes fear into fuel. It becomes the antivenom. I wrote it this way, very simply for me, because simple is easy for me. Makes it much easier. Love mixed into fear creates a vaccine for fear. You can live in that place. You can live in being awake, aware, and alert, but not alarmed. Folks, what we're experiencing right now is perhaps, I'm going to go further, I'm going to predict, what we're experiencing right now is going to be written about for hundreds of years to come as the greatest shift in the consciousness and in the systems of humanity. The United States of America has been a living experiment of democratic republic constitution for over 200 years. It's been an experiment because it had never in recorded history happened. What is next will be written about for years to come. We are deciding right now, this is why the contrast is so clear. We are deciding right now that there is a better way. for all of humanity to live in a higher state of well-being. Everyone, not just the top 1%. And we're waking up. And as we're waking up, the system is crumbling. My prediction, watch what's going to happen before the end of 2025. There are some other things that are going to transpire that you would have never thought in your lifetime you would see. And if all you look for is the bad in it, that's all you're going to receive from it. We are turning a page. And sometimes when you turn a page in a big book, it makes a lot of noise. Stay awake. Stay aware. Stay alert. But don't be alarmed. The kingdom of God is within you. And so it is. Yummy. Reverend Carey is going to share our announcements. By the way, those who are joining online, I didn't say this a moment ago to you folks. Thank you for being here. I love you. Welcome in.
Good morning, family. Y'all look so beautiful. Are y'all warm? How about this cold weather, huh? Just a couple announcements. Our Thursday evening meditation with Reiki is here in our sanctuary every week at 6 p.m. And this week is going to be facilitated by Rebecca Joy Mooney. She has a beautiful singing voice. It's a wonderful experience. Our text message campaign will officially launch tomorrow. I am so excited. Everything is in place. If you are still wanting to sign up for those text alerts, I have a QR code in the lobby, very easy to do, or see me in the lobby after service. Midday Q&A with my wonderful husband, with Reverend John and Carrie, is every Thursday at noon on Facebook Live. I know this past week we had a little bit of a hiccup, but we did re-record it on Friday, so you can go back and listen. John and I basically answer a question or two that come from you, from our community. So if you would like us to answer a question you may have, you can send that to admin, ADMIN, at firstunity.org. Our Spring Spirit Expressing book study, we're a little under a month away from that. So today is the day to sign up with a host. We do have the host signups in the lobby. So if you would like to participate in this book study, we're going to be reading The Keys to the Kingdom. It's a seven-week course on prosperity consciousness building. So we will start that first one the second week of March. So if you wanted to sign up, you can do that in the lobby. And then if you would like one of the books, there's two options to do that. We can print you out a book for $20. It comes in a nice notebook. We do need to have that pre-ordered so I can make sure I have enough printed. Or you can have an emailed PDF to your email. So you can have it on a device or download it and print it yourself. Our Oneness and Social Justice team is going to be meeting this Thursday evening at 7 p.m. in our hall. They're going to be giving more updates on the FAST organization. I know there's a couple rallies that are coming up for the FAST organization that we're going to be a part of. So if you would like to join the Oneness group and be a part of that mission, be sure to be there Thursday at 7. And then also, the Oneness group is putting together a field trip to the Woodson African American Heritage Museum on March 8th. It's a Saturday. I believe the exhibit starts at 5:30, so they're asking for everyone to be there around 5. But they're going to be the exhibit's going to be Invisible Labor. So if you'd like to do that, you can join the Oneness group Saturday, March 8th at 5 p.m. Mari Castle, she's one of our congregants here. She's going to be holding a holotropic breathwork session, or I guess it's like a 9 to 5 session, so it's an all-day event. She does these quite often. If you haven't attended one, they're pretty awesome. This is going to be held at the Quaker Meeting House, so the address is on the flyer in the lobby. Pre-registration is required. There's a QR code on there, on the flyer out there if you'd like to participate, but you can also register online on our calendar. Our annual business meeting is today at 2, guys. I know that's a little bit of a break between this session, but if you are able to come back and attend, I highly suggest it. We have quite a presentation for you. We're going to go over all the stuff that's gone on in 2024, financials, events, and then looking into 2025, our vision, what John is looking to accomplish here. So it would be good for you guys to attend and see what's going on. And I think that's about it. So yeah, I love you guys, and I'll be in the lobby if you need anything.
Awesome. Thank you. Also, hey, one of the things that I failed to mention a moment ago is that how many were here for the concert Friday night? Jesse Powers. So good. If you missed her, though, Friday night, she stayed over. She's with us this morning at the 11 o'clock service. She's one of those musical artists, so I didn't ask her about doing an early service because musical artists tend to be up pretty late. But she is going to be in our 11 o'clock service. And if you want to come back for that, you can. Also, of course, it's going to be live streamed. But I believe you'll enjoy that. Let's get into our generosity practice here. And I just want to say thank you. Those of you who are online and a part of our virtual membership, those of you who are here locally, thank you for being a sustaining partner for this ministry. It helps us to continue doing what we're doing, actually. So thank you for giving. There's multiple ways to give. They're going up on the screen right now. You can give financially by texting to give. You can also go to our First Unity app. You can utilize our website, which is firstunity.org/give. In that space, you can actually determine whether you want to do subscription type giving. In other words, a particular amount maybe that you've budgeted, and it can automatically be deducted instead of having to go through the process of writing a check or cash or swiping a card. You can always send a check or a money order to our P.O. box. You can use our Cash app, which makes it easy. It's a digital way. It's quick. I prefer using digital and quick these days. Our world has kind of gone that way. You can use the QR code that's on the plate as well as the one that's going up on the screen right now. Those who are watching online, you'll be able to see all of that information as well. I want to say just thank you for deciding that this is a place for you to invest. I don't believe it's getting rid of something. I believe it's investing, because I do believe that we're doing something that is specifically driven toward awakening human beings to their own glorious, amazing beauty. And I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks this, but I think that there needs to be a rise in this kind of community. So that people can feel like they belong instead of having to fit in some wonky way, do a bunch of stuff so that they can be accepted. You belong already. Before you even walk in the door, you belong. But when you're in this space, we want that to be clear, that you get that message, that we love you. We really do love you. And not just unconditionally. We love you because you're just pretty awesome. And so you belong. Thank you for supporting that. And I'm going to ask if the spiritual support team would come and help with receiving the offering. Let's do our prayer of abundance. I'm going to lead that. Reverend Aileen has been leading that. Actually, why don't you lead that? Because this is your final time to lead it at this time.
I was going to say, you might as well give me my swan song.
Please, there you go.
You'll have plenty of time to practice. So as we say our prayer of abundance. The abundance of God is my infinite source. I now open my mind and my heart to give and receive all God's good, all God's prosperity, all God's abundance. As God as my source, all things are possible, and so it is.
And so it is. They're receiving the offering, and after they get through doing that, we'll gather in this middle aisle here. And we will sing our peace song and do our prayer of protection together. Thank you, Emmanuel, for blessing us with a song today, and Barb with the reading. Thank you so much for participating in today's service. All right. All right, we'll do our peace song together. Aw, you want to sing with us? Look.
Some of us want to sing too.
Oh, come on in. You're fine, mine too. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun. Peace that was meant to be. protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The love of God protects us. I am the power. Yeah. Yes. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. So it is. I love you all. Make it a great week.